So now that we're really into the meat of the 2023 recruiting class, we need to talk about a loaded weekend that the Oklahoma Sooners are set to have. The Sooners staff has been putting together really nice events, and that extends into this weekend, and we need to discuss some major prospects that will be making their way to Norman and what this means going forward. But before we do, as always, y'all know the drill. I want to hear from you, so hop down to the comments, Y for yes, N for no. Do you believe, given all the loaded events Oklahoma is putting together, that this new staff is set to surge in recruiting in the class of 2023? And let me know what you're thinking. If you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. Hit that bell notification. I do constant college football content. You don't want to miss any of it. And if you enjoyed this content, like and comment down below. Those interactions are truly massive to content creators such as myself, and both getting picked up and maintained by the YouTube algorithm. But with all that being said, let's hop right into this, because this is a weekend that Sooner fans should be excited about. Look, anytime you're putting together these nice recruiting events, it's a reason to be excited. But that level of excitement is only increased when 5 stars are set to be present, and there are 5 stars set to be present. In the class of 2023, we can look at 5-star Jayden Wayne, one of the best defensive linemen in the nation in a class that is full of top-level defensive linemen. Jayden Wayne comes in as the number 4 defensive lineman in the nation from Washington, someone that every institution in the nation is doing everything they can to remain in his good graces, to be in the final battle for his services. Wayne is someone that the Oklahoma Sooners love being able to get in this weekend, especially in the manner that they are. The Ford Sports Performance 7-on-7 group is going to be making their way to Norman, and per Marcus Griffin, someone who works for the Ford Sports Performance group, per Twitter, he tweeted out the list of prospects that are set to visit Norman, and it is one that needs to excite you. But anytime you have that type of event, and even more important, an event in which an Oklahoma commit will already be present in Ashton Cozart, that's the type of familiarity, that's the type of vibe that I think a lot of these recruits are really going to resonate with. A lot of friends they have, close teammates of theirs, and now they get to go in an environment such as Oklahoma, whose staff is doing everything they can to make sure they're making the right impressions. And when you look at it, they've been doing just that. And furthermore, when we talk about the defensive line, we'd be remiss in not mentioning Todd Bates, one of the best defensive line recruiters in the nation, one of the best defensive line coaches in the nation. Anytime you get Todd Bates on somebody, you have got a chance, and you've really got to like your chance. So we've got to keep an eye on what this means for the future of Jayden Wayne and his recruitment battles. But just getting him in and getting him the opportunity to talk to Todd Bates is a net positive in my opinion. But it doesn't simply stop there, because this event is going to be loaded for the Sooners. 4-star defensive back Caleb Presley also is in attendance. A top 10 cornerback in the nation. He's an individual that you love to get in. A top 100 player in the nation. Getting that type of defensive back with that type of cachet next to their rating is going to be important. And look, before we go any further, one thing that I've been asked constantly is, do I believe stars matter? And the answer to that question, very briefly, is yes and no. Stars are a great way to kind of gauge someone's ceiling. Most of your 5 stars are 5 stars for a reason. They're guys that have dominated the competition, both at the high school level, at the camp level, and through a lot of their All-American processes. But that doesn't mean that a 3-star can't also perform at the level of a 5-star once they get to college. We've seen it time and time again. And just because you're a 5-star does not mean you are guaranteed success at the next level. We've seen 5 stars not pan out, and we've seen guys walk on and then end up in the NFL to have really nice careers. So do stars matter? Yeah, they're a great measuring stick, but they are not the end-all be-all. But having said that, you love getting in guys that are rated within the top 300 players in the nation, and that's what this event is loaded in. Outside of 4-star DB, there's a prospect I'm really interested in, not only in what he means for Oklahoma, but what his process is going to be like. And that's 4-star quarterback Gabari Johnson. I'm really interested in this individual. He's someone who I think is going to surge in recruiting. He comes in as the number 242 player in the nation in a class that is loaded with quarterback talent. If you really want to get in to how loaded this quarterback class is, check out my video I did a few weeks ago comparing this year's quarterback class to the previous few seasons, kind of showing you how absolutely talented this year's group is. And Johnson is absolutely in that fold. He's a really talented prospect, somebody that I'm going to be keeping my eye on throughout his process, but him making an appearance in Norman in such a loaded weekend is awesome, not only for him, but the Sooners. And the Sooners are already sitting in a situation where they have a quarterback in the class of 2023. They like their quarterback in the class of 2023, and Jackson Arnold is someone who could find himself in 5-star range. We talked about this not long ago. But if you're able to garner the attention of other top quarterbacks, that's just kind of a measuring stick as to what your staff is doing, right? And if you have a quarterback committed to your class as highly rated as Jackson Arnold is, and still you're piquing interest, whether they have any commitment interest or not, the fact that they want to see what's going on shows you that something is happening in Norman, something that's a net positive. Outside of Gabari Johnson, it doesn't end there. We have Jayden Lamar, 4-star running back, number 248 in the nation, 3-star cornerback Michael Montgomery. You have Ashton Cozart, who's already a member of Oklahoma's class, but him coming this weekend is something that I think is the real net positive in all of this. Look, we can go on and on and on talking about how talented a lot of these guys are, but the fact that there is an Oklahoma commit there means he can really start talking to some of these guys. He has such familiarity with them on a different level than the coaches have. And this is something we've seen pay off for the Oklahoma Sooners multiple times in the past. Look, Oklahoma hired phenomenal recruiters. We've talked at length about this. So you already feel very comfortable with their ability to be able to get in these top battles, and it's already showing. But we've seen Oklahoma commits really change the tide in battles before. Think back to Caleb Williams, and though he's no longer there, it was able to show that whenever you have these top-rated players, they have a type of familiarity with their peers that recruiters, that coaches just may not have. And that type of familiarity can be a major net positive. So that's why I'm so high on Ashton Cozart being there. That's why I typically highlight if a kid who's already committed to your class is visiting, because he's going to be working overtime just like the recruiters are. He just can do it in a different way because of that familiarity. But 3-star cornerback Andre Jordan Jr. will also be in attendance out the class of 2023. But we cannot end there, because in the class of 2024, there's also another 5-star in attendance for the Sooners, and that is Jason Brown, the athlete out of Washington. Jason Brown comes in as the number 25 player in the nation, the number 4 athlete, and he's one player to keep an eye on. The fact that you can lay down a foundation this early on in a setting such as this is a real net positive, and he's going to be one we have to watch moving forward. Brown is an individual that possesses all the athletic capabilities you could ever want in a player, and so getting him in to talk to these new coaches I think is going to be awesome for Oklahoma. But also in the class of 2024, you have other players such as 4-star Rashawn Clark, another athlete and a top-rated athlete at that, coming in as the number 68 player in the nation, number 13 athlete, as well as 4-star Braden Pratt, the number 49 player in the nation and the number 5 linebacker. So Oklahoma's weekend is going to be very busy in all of the best ways. You have 2 5-stars, one in the class of 2023, one in the class of 2024, and then a boatload of talented players outside of that. These are the type of weekends that really show that there is something exciting happening in Norman from a recruiting perspective. The fact that you can get in these type of players means that they're interested in what's happening there. Regardless of whether they're coming on an event or not, this Oklahoma staff is one that has the ability to lay really positive foundations. And the fact that this is an event and there's going to be a team setting involved, I think is going to play very well for the Oklahoma Sooners. But I'm really interested in hearing from y'all. Hop down to the comments, Y for yes, N for no. Do you believe this Oklahoma staff is set to surge in recruiting in the class of 2023? And then let me know which player you'd like to see commit next. That's it. See ya.